So I'd like to start off by mentioning that this movie was recommended by an online friend of mine who was the same person that recommended The Hideous Sun Demon a while back. And unfortunately, we lost touch a little while ago, as the only means that we had of communication was this social networking site called SodaHead, which I believe I mentioned in one of my previous videos that it ended up pretty much uh, crashing and dying. So, as far as I know, this friend of mine doesn't have his own account on YouTube, but he did say that he was going to keep tabs on my channel and help add to the viewership. So if you're watching this right now, I hope you're doing well, and I would like to thank you for the support that you've given me. Anyway, uh, I'm going to be talking about the Last Picture Show in this video, which doesn't exactly have a straightforward plot going on. It's really just a slice of life drama about this group of young adults who are exiting high school and getting ready to enter the adult world. And that's pretty much the best way to sum up the story of this film. Um, the best way to sum up how it feels is that it's almost 100% realistic. Mostly the film revolves around the different relationships between some of these characters, and in particular, some of the sexual relationships. And just like every other aspect of the film, the sexual scenes don't feel glamorized, and they didn't make them look unappealing either. They just looked real. As far as the characters go, there were a few that were very unlikable at the beginning, but as the film went on, they started to show little glimmers of sort of likable and relatable traits. And there were also characters who came off as more likable in the beginning, and as the film went on, you got to see some of their flaws, which is true to life. Just like the last movie that I reviewed on this channel, there are no bad guys here, there's just people. And the performances are great across the board. I particularly enjoyed seeing a very young Jeff Bridges in this movie. And it was easy to recognize him. His face hasn't changed all that much over the years, and his voice sounds exactly the same now as it did 44 years ago. And yeah, the film was made in 1971. Also, it's a black and white movie. So if you don't care for black and white films, you might want to skip this one. Um, in the end, though, I will say that while I acknowledge that The Last Picture Show is a very well made movie, it's not exactly my kind of movie. There are a lot of things going on in it, and yet there's nothing going on. And I mean, I've seen other films in the past that were fairly true to life that I genuinely enjoyed. I mean, Locke is a movie of that type, which I reviewed on this channel, and I had pretty much nothing but good things to say about that movie. And before this channel was even started, I saw Fruitvale Station, which not only was a film that was true to life, but was actually based on a true story. And I happen to think that it was an excellent film, and it had me invested all the way through. While there were moments in the Last Picture Show that I found interesting, overall, I just didn't feel there was never any point where I felt compelled enough to really fall in love with the film. Um, so I would say, once again, it's not a bad movie. It just clearly wasn't made for me. I would say that if it sounds like something you would be interested in, by all means check it out. But if it sounds like something that'll just end up boring you, then that'll most likely be the case. Um, to reiterate what I've already said twice, uh, it's a good movie. I just didn't particularly care for it. So that's all I've got to say about The Last Picture Show. I hope you all have a good one.